Good afternoon, wherever you might be. My name is Lamin Jallo here in Toronto. Thank you, dear listener, for tuning in today's Africa. Hope you are all enjoying your Saturday. We have actually a cloudy Saturday morning here in Toronto. And after a few months away, I am so happy to be back and reconnect with our dear listeners. So those are used to tune in, thank you very much for your fidelity. And those who is the first time, it's their first time, warm welcome. And thank you very much for tuning in. And we really appreciate you to have you on board today. And I used to say, without all of you, we won't be able to express our passion and dedication to our mother Africa, our future. So today, I have a wonderful gentleman co-hosting with me. I have Mr. Joseph Usiji. Also, I have our brother from Accra, John Daniels, GB, and also our producer, Brother Theo. Thank you, gentlemen, for being part of this program. And I know you are dedicated to Africa. And as I used to say, we are not African. We are not born in Africa, but Africa is born in us. Thank you very much. So today, our topic today, the thinking orphanages in Africa. The thinking orphanages in Africa is an important topic. You know, instead of traditional orphanages, there is a growing emphasis on family-based care models, such as foster care and kinship care, which can provide a more nurturing environment for children. This approach aims to keep children within their communities, preserving them, their culture, and social connections while addressing their needs. Additionally, efforts should focus on poverty reduction, healthcare, and education to prevent child abandonment in the first place. And it's crucial to involve local communities, government, and NGOs in this effort to ensure sustainable changes. So it's why today we are addressing this important topic. First of all, I will let our brother JD from Accra to express his, thought in this topic today. The floor is yours, brother JD.
Thank you very much. Policies play an important role in our social setup in the world, especially in Africa. Hitherto, most of these children who are motherless, fatherless, and need protection and need family life are brought to such orphanages so that they also enjoy parenthood and normal development facets that they need in life. But with time, we notice that most of the orphanages rather destroy our young people who go to these orphanages. There are quite a lot of bad habits like thievery, armed robbery, smoking hemp, and what have you. And we notice that instead of the orphanages, if we channel the resources, the charity resources that we obtain into the families in Africa, those families who really need support, it will go a long way to support the needy. I mean, the young needy in our countries. But I have to say that some orphanages are doing marvelously well. in that state. Without them, most of these young people will not have had any place to go and also enjoy normal life education and what have you. So I believe that in Africa, we may have to use the two systems, strengthen the family system, because when we were all growing up, it was either an uncle or an aunt or grandmother who took care of us, whilst our father was in the big cities learning or working as civil servants. And we grew up to be good adults. And when the orphanages came in, I know of SOS in Ghana, Accra, Tema. They have produced a lot of good citizens, lawyers, doctors, accountants, and what have you. So that if you are going to rely on these private orphanages, then there should be structures put in place to monitor them. Otherwise, if there's a way that those resources could be channeled to the families, as I listed earlier, grandmothers, uncles, and those people who take care of these children who wouldn't have had that opportunity, it will be all right. So I believe that the two systems should work side by side. That's my initial comment, Doc.
Thank you very much, Brother JB. I have seen Dr. Pindo. Good morning, Dr. Pindo.
Good morning, sir.
Long time no seen. Happy to see you.
It's good to be seen anytime at my age.
It's new style. New style. I was saying it's a new style today.
It is.
Yes. Yeah. So, Brother Asuji, I know you are, involved in the human rights. So, what you can tell us about, orphanages in Africa, how to rethink orphanages in Africa?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I have to apologize. I might be going off and on this. I apologize for that. So the topic is rethinking. When you say rethinking, you're talking about a new approach to the issue. It's not the traditional. So this is a very good topic, rethinking. So we have to start rethinking of the orphanage. What is orphanage? The definition of orphanage from the African perspective, and the definition of orphanage in the Western perspective, Western country perspective. So when you apply the human rights to the issue of orphanage, so my rethinking could be something like this. What is orphanage in Africa? Orphanage doesn't mean people have no parents. I think it's a traditional definition of orphanage. The orphanage can be revolutionized like this. Even children that have parents, they can still be an orphan within their homes. For example, we have the homeless people, and we have the orphanage corporations, people who adopt orphanages. So they make us have orphanages in Africa, and they can bring them to the Western world to make money. So the African has to wake up to define their own orphanage. The people that have the role of the government of the new definition of orphanage, for me, is not people have parents. Some people have parents, but they're still orphanage. In Africa, in the rural areas, in Nigeria, there are people who have parents, they can't afford to go to school. So the child runs away. He runs away from home, even though he has a parent. So he becomes a homeless person. So that's what the first speaker was talking about, to produce good citizenship. So when you have a child who has mother and father, grandparents, but they are not capable of looking after this child, that could be implied orphanage as well. Implied. There's something called implied and express orphanage for me. Implied, they have parents, but they are orphanage in their own homes. They cannot, so the society cannot produce a good citizenship from such environment. The child runs away from home. He joined the gangs. he becomes prisoners in their locality. So the orphanage has to be reorganized, redefined to meet the need of the African perspective, of the African continent. So the government has to play a role to support people actually who are orphans, who have no parents. Also support people who have parents, but the parents cannot take care of their children. Some people give up their children. They sell their children to Europe. They sell it. They sell it. Sometimes you don't hear that. So they have parents for a better life. They sell up their children for money, for dollars. They sell them, hoping for a better life. So is that orphanage? So the definition of orphanage has to be implied and expressed, and the role of the government to assist on the human right perspective. So the human right perspective, the rights of the child, the right of the orphanage child, the right of implied orphanage child to have the basic amenities of life, to have the basic care of life. It starts from the government. So the government is the family. We have to define that. The government is the family, not just the individual family. That's my my take for right now.
Thank you, brother Joseph, and you're absolutely right. Sometimes when we talk about orphanage, we think about when the parents are not alive, and I totally agree with you. You can have both your parents being alive as a child and being orphan because the basic needs are not met. They are not fulfilling the basic need. So, and as you said, it's why some children, they have no choice to go outside and to be in trouble. And I absolutely agree with you. Dr. Pindu, what do you have to say in regard what uh, brother JB what he just said, and also our brother Joseph? What do you have to add in terms of orphanage? Being orphanage, is it implied orphanage or express orphanage? So, and he was saying we need to redefine the term orphanage in a way to be in alignment with our African values. What do you have to say?
You know what, Dr. Diallo, thank you so much for the opportunity to participate in this. And thank you, brother JD, for your contributions. I just caught the tail end of that. And I think you had some valid points there. And of course, our brother Joseph has raised or has mentioned some things that are really worth looking into. And I kind of like the perspective of implied and expressed. But I'm really thinking let's go deeper. Our brother is actively involved in this thing that we're talking about, in this topic. I shouldn't thingify things here, not this thing, but in this topic that we're talking about today. And I wanted to find out, Brother Joseph, if you could enlighten us in the light of the perspectives, brilliant perspectives you have just brought to us. What kind of a context do you see as one that is African focused, but also one that really helps to produce the results? So you mentioned the government is there to play a significant role to support, but then I also appreciated what you said earlier. It's about producing good citizens, good citizenships. So in your mind, from your experience and interactions with various organizations and what you have seen, would you enlighten us on the type of context that would produce that?
Brother Joseph?
Yes, sorry. So I'm looking at this issue. The government is is an important factor in Africa. The government is the family, and the first speaker mentioned about producing So here we have people, young offenders, for example, in Canada, they come from single mothers family, single mothers home. There are different organizations in Africa context. We don't have that setup. So the government is the most important dominant factor. All our resources, it could be oil, it could be minerals, controlled by the government. So the government should assume a role as a family. So they can go into the communities and see to support the family, financial support. Producing this case, they have to go to school. The parents don't have the money to sponsor them, to put them to school. Not like here in Canada, sometimes you get OSA, government assistance. In Africa, we don't have that setup. The child could be bright, very smart, born smart. Some of them produces electricity. In Igbo, in Owerri, in Anambra State, in Nigeria, some of these young children produce electric vehicles. But because they come from this orphanage, when I say orphanage, both express and implied, they cannot advance that knowledge. They cannot go to school. So they're going to end up get frustrated. They run away. They cannot become engineer. How can you become engineer, my friend, in Africa, if your parents cannot put you in school? The government should intervene and give scholarship. So when you say produce, the government has to play a role to produce this important family, not just engineers or doctors or lawyers. It could be, it could be role models like, ministers, community leaders, activists, and all that stuff. So government don't play that role, my friend, in African culture.
My brother Joseph, I'm going to appear like I'm going to be very rude here. I'm going to interrupt you.
Yes.
I know that you and I know that in Africa, most of our governments, yes, we do have some thriving contexts in Africa where governments are really rising above what they should be, and they're community focused and they're focused on their citizens. But for the most part, in most of our governments, we have thieves. We have people who actually capitalize on these children to make headlines for themselves. They go give them bread, have a photo shoot, and it appears in the newspaper. So I'm thinking, are you thinking of an institution, a building, a facility for these kids? Are you thinking of putting them in families where they live with families? That's the kind of thing I'm thinking of. What kind of a context do you have in mind?
Good question. Remember, I'm still believing on the difference between implied and express orphanage.
Yes.
A child comes from a family. The child is born there in that family. It could be a family in a remote area. It doesn't matter. That's his family. So when you uproot him and put him in an institution, that transition, the child might not accommodate that transition. So I am not talking about institution or buildings. I'm talking about institution in a very organic way, holistic way, support. And most of this problem we have in Africa, I'm talking about the orphanage in African perspective, is resources. They don't have the resources. So when you remove a child from his village and take him to the city, big city, and put him in the institution, that transition might actually adversely affect this child. So put him where he is, support the family, put a institution like scholarship.
Looks like we might need to mute some people here. They are interrupting here.
Yeah, and so Dr. Pindo, I agree with you what you just said, and most of the time, the governments in Africa, they don't fulfill what they're supposed to do unless, when it's time for election, when it's close to the election. So they're trying to pretend they are close to the population, they are close to the constituent, and just to benefit from, as you said, photo shoot or etc. in order to just to benefit themselves. But deep down, I don't think they're thinking about about the population, about the orphan. It's not their first uh, thought. So I agree. I totally agree with you. And what Brother Joseph said also, we have both. We have implied orphan and express orphan. And in Africa, we used to think, if, let's say, the parents are not alive, then they are orphan. But not every. Sometimes children, as you said, Brother Joseph, they can have their parents, both parents, because they are not capable to fulfill the basic needs, and because also the government are not assisting them. The children, they have no choice to go out and try to be, as you said, in gang street, etc., which is problematic in Africa. Before we introduce our host today, I would like to have our brother Theo to express his thoughts about what he just heard from our co-host today.
Thank you, Dr. Jallo. I like your new look, folks.
Thank you.
The topic is very important because most, when we look at things, most of the time we sort of talk about topics as they may relate to politics and all those kind of stuff. But this particular topic is of great importance because in all of this, I have heard about 2 or 3 times where one of us has spoken about the fact of people coming out of these kind of situations being good citizens. I can, if you look at Africa, for instance, in North America, we call these places group homes. In Africa, before, we never had this kind of institutional structures where we had kids going in there and then them, being taken care of. It was the responsibility of families to take care of kids who have lost their parents. That's what we had in Africa. Traditionally, that has been one of the tenets of our culture, because we believe strongly, traditionally speaking, that nobody can take care of any other person's child except either the person is there or the person is not there. Let me give you an example of this kind of stuff that is going on. About 10, 15 years ago, I was approached by a gentleman, and he had visited Africa, specifically in Kenya. And then he came back. That was the time when HIV/AIDS was the COVID of that time. And he said he wanted to go back to Kenya because what he saw wasn't good, because a lot of kids in some part of Kenya where he was had lost their parents. And these kids were street kids, basically. So he came back to Canada and then, got his resources together and went back to set up an institution, an orphanage. He started, in fact, my organization at the time that I was involved with gave them the seed direction. And we started with 45 kids in that orphanage. Today, they have over 5,000 kids. Schools have been built, boarding schools have been built, teachers have been hired. It's a non-governmental thing. Teachers have been hired. And some of these kids are doctors right now, lawyers and stuff like that. So sometimes if we look at it from that angle, that, to go back to what I said before, that in Africa, traditionally, when kids lose their parents, the onus will be on the family, when I say family in Africa, the family structure, it's a different kind of thing. So in today's world where poverty arises, where there's a lot of poverty, they may not be able to take care of the kids. So the only way out would be if there are some of these institutions out there, you know what, they can also help in bringing up the example of this Kakamega project that I was talking about. Here's an institution that has churned out doctors, nurses, lawyers, engineers, and the school is thriving. If this gentleman hadn't set up this kind of institution, my question is, where would some of these kids be? Because they had no families. The family structures were not so strong for them to be able to survive. So, you know, in essence, if we have to rethink what needs to be done in Africa, I think institutions like this should have to be supported, structurally speaking, because there's got to be a time where we have to reform our family structures to meet the signs of the times, because it's not everybody out there who is able to be able to sustain and to help some of these kids. But all in all, I think it's a very good topic, and we are so glad to have some people who have dedicated themselves fully to help come out with kids who will be able to support traditional or African countries, because like we had these young guys, Norbert, and they are doing so great. They are doing so great. They are not in orphanages, but they have found a way to come out of a situation to build a better life for themselves. So if I have to say this, I think orphanages, rethinking about orphanages in Africa, we have to balance the historical structures and the modern structure. So if we have to rethink it, this is where we have to.
Yeah, I agree with you, Brother Theo. And in order to, to have that modern, to balance both of them also, I believe we should have local organizations or individuals or donors, who can help to support the work of those people who's running the orphanages. But something else also, in this kind of organization also, we need to have a educational program offered to the children to ensure them the qualification they need. Also, healthcare, a good healthcare, in order to take care of their overall well-being of the children in the care of the orphanage. So, and also, we need to make sure there is a transparency and accountability, with the people who's running those orphanages. So all this should be put in place, and it's the way we can rethink orphanages in Africa. I see we have our guests joining us. So, and today, this topic is so important, and it's why we have a guest, the perfect guest for our today's topic. And we have Nanenjego Hidaya from Uganda, Africa, who is running an orphanage called God Support Orphanage Ministry Uganda, helping street kids who are trying their best to survive. Good day. I don't know if I'm seeing. Is it Sister Nanjego around?
No,
Yeah.
I think
Hello.
she has a representative.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. What's your name?
My name is Chiraga Derek, and I'm working with Najego Bidai to supporting or running Body Support Orphanage Ministry, Uganda, and I'm one of the founder of this orphanage. Though he's not here, but I'm representing on behalf of her. Yes, we delayed because of a poor network over here. But finally, God have enabled us to join you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming in, and we are so pleased to have you. It's a pleasure of mine and my co-host to have you. So, my first question:
Yeah.
what inspired you? I know you said you are one of the co-founder. What
Yeah.
inspired you to start this orphanage, and what is your personal connection to this cause?
Thank you for the a beautiful question. First of all, I'm an orphan too. Secondly, I lost all my parents uh, together with Najego. All the members at the orphanage, they are all an orphanages. So uh, we've been trying to create this program so that we can save or helping the street kids who lost their parents, because this is also brothers and sisters like me who have passing through the poor or bad situation like me. So this motivated me to do so together with Najego, so that we created the foundation which can at least save or serve those who are in need. So we save the little to save the many, please. And accordingly, that me and Najego, we are all orphans. Uh, this motivated us uh, at least to do something, because we met in a local market, the same street, the same area. So we realized that we are all an orphanages, and we started an orphanage. So we sat down and create this idea of helping the street kids.
Thank you very much. Um, Thank you very much. And before Brother Theo, as I said, I have to leave. I will excuse myself. I'll be back next week. But before I leave, I just want to maybe ask my last question to to our guest. So, if you can share some success stories or example of the positive impact your organization has had on the lives of the children and the community. Thank you, and thank you. God bless you, and continue to do what you are doing. It's a noble mission. Thank you very much. So see you next week, Brother Theo, and all my co-hosts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mpindu.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Mention your name again. I didn't get the name.
Chiraga Derek.
Chiaga Derek.
Yes.
Kare Sebo.
Wow. I'm so surprised for sure.
Whoever in your Sebo, whoever in your.
Wow, I'm very surprised for sure that at least I have some friends abroad who can at least guess my language.
That is good to know. Well, to Gende Kampala, I've been to Kampala a few times, so I know.
Wow.
So the outgoing host, Dr. Diallo, asked a very important question. He said, could you share with us some of the success stories from the work that you are doing? Maybe one or two of those stories that have really encouraged the kind of work that you guys are doing.
Yes, thank you, brother. Kindly, I'm very proud of being an orphan. That is the first point. And this is, as I told you at the first, that to being an orphan, this motivated me so much, at least to create an idea of collecting street kids who have lost their parents, because there are very, very many on this area right now. Even if right now there are many. So, uh, excuse me a little bit. Yes. So one of my story, you know, let me express my story a little bit, and as myself, I know they have just died. Should it's when I was 14. So I grown up on streets. I know the situation out this on the streets, and I know everything running any corner where you can find these kids who are suffering. I know where they are located, but I'm doing or I'm serving the little which I can, at least to save these innocent kids, because you can find a number of kids at the streets in any stage or in any years, starting from 2 years. But what I want to do is at least to correct many as I can, the number of street kids at the streets. That is one of our that is one of our goal. If I get at least our home, because right now we are renting a house. It is a 4-roomed house where these kids are sleeping. We've been trying at least to feed these kids, because we lost our job, most especially me. I lost my job during the attack of the pandemic all over the world. So this led to lost our jobs, because me and Najengo, we was working in local markets at least to get the food for these kids. But right now we have nowhere. So we've been trying how to feed these kids on donations. Unfortunately, where we've been getting the donations, one of the friends died to COVID-19, because he visited at the orphanage and he saw the situation which was running over here. Because first of all, for us, our government never mind on poor street kids, never mind on needy. They just care for themselves, satisfying their stomachs, doing charging people high class taxes on everything. So this is at least challenges us, because when we are trying at least to create something like farming, like gardening, all this needs at least a start, like a donation which can at least create for us this to be at least learning. So we don't base on our government, because even to get a certificate which allows us to do what we are doing, we have to pay every year. It is a non-profit organization, but it is not. It is a non-profit organization, but the government charges for us to do what we are doing. Yes, it is. We have to pay what we are doing. Everything in Uganda, it is very, 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 I'm sorry to say this, but it is very stubborn, because what you are doing, you have to pay. You have to pay any bill. Remember, we are just an orphanage. We have nowhere to get anything or food or money. We are not working. Recently, we've just attacked by the Ebola in our district, starting from Itiana district up to Mubende district. We have been in a lockdown. We don't know whether this was a government's plan. We don't know whether this was, I don't know, but we've been in lockdown, so we've been challenging by the situation. 2 years back, we've been at least used to go in people's gardens, and at least we work and we earn, collect some food which we can use to at least to feed the kids. But right now, because everything is very high, even the people, they are not calling us for the help in their gardens. You get? So this is very challenging us, but for us, we are still very determined because we are all an orphans.
Okay, well, you know what? Thank you, Weberenyo, for the information there. I wonder whether you could give us some statistics in terms of this 4-roomed house that you are in. How many children are there, male and female, and what kind of help do you get to make sure that everybody is taken care of? Like, who else is helping you? You mentioned, is it Nanjengo?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then yourself. So give us some statistics in terms of how many children are there, how many boys, how many girls, what is their daily schedule like? What are some of the things that you do? So try as much as possible to be practical for us. We do have a number of people around the world really who are listening to you. So one of the things that we want to do is not just to let people know what you're doing, but to encourage our listeners and our listenership to support in whatever way that they can. And we don't guarantee that. We don't own anything ourselves, but we know that even from the little we have, we can help. So give us as much of the practical details as possible. How many boys, how many girls, beddings, food. I know you mentioned that, you used to work in different people's homes so that at least you would get some food, but now it's becoming difficult to do that. So where are you getting the food? Do these kids go to school? Schools, I don't know in Uganda whether school is still free, but you still have to buy your own uniform and stuff, right? So we need all those details. Could you share with us a little more detail, brother?
Yes, please. Yes, please. I can because I supposed to. Yes, I can because I supposed to, because this is a big opportunity to be with you here. Yes. First of all, we are helping 100 kids. So it is 70 kids. It is 70 boys and 30 girls in a house. As I told you that we are renting a full house, 4 rooms. So about the beds, kindly we are sharing the beds or the mattresses, because we are laying the mattresses down so that the kids they are sharing the beds in each room. Well, the kids, I can say that as I told you that we used to go in people's garden and work, but now it is becoming difficult because they are not calling us. Where we get food, right now when we get because we used to post on here and we share our PayPal, so we don't know the Gosol people, they used to donate. So when they are donating, as I told you that we are feeding on donations, so we get that money and we stock the food, because we give these kids the food which is on a last price, like a maize flour. This made from maize and the beans. So we stock these two in our store. So we are using it carefully because the kids, they are just taking 2 meals a day. They are taking 2 meals a day. On breakfast, they are just taking porridge. On breakfast, they are just taking porridge. Then they are taking posho and beans. This is made in maize flour, brother. We cook beans and we smingo. We call it smingo. This maize flour to make it out of the posho, become a posho. So we eat it on lunch. So this helping us to surviving, because I can say for us we are feeding on that food. So we are trying as much as we can to post at least any good Samaritan donating, because a good Samaritan who was used to donating us monthly was died. The one I told you that who is visited died, COVID-19. So that chance got lost a long time ago. So we've been struggling and surviving in this poor situation over in Uganda.
Okay.
This is very common because even if you bypass on streets or roads of Kampala, you can find kids seated in the middle of the roads, seeking and begging. But this is the responsible of the government, at least to collect these kids, and they get a place where they can collect these kids and start feeding them, because they are also Ugandans. So for us over here, we are posting sometimes when I get some job. I used to go and work and get something, but it is not too much. But at least I try to share with my brothers and sisters who are still innocent. Najeng still, because he's sick, he can't be with us here. But Najengo is also working very hard. At least these kids to be, there are many, but at least God helps us, we can control them.
Webarenyo, I'm going to ask our brother JD here, who is in Accra, in Ghana, to bring in some of his perspectives and maybe some comments, some questions. Brother JD.
I think he's on a delay kind of thing. If I may join, jump. Oh, okay, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Doc. I know it's very difficult to run an orphanage without much support. Yeah, I know it's very difficult to run an orphanage without much support. And from the way I'm listening to our brother, it's very difficult in Uganda. And that's why initially we're discussing that this job cannot be left with the proprietors of those NGOs or the organizations. You should have a structured system where the various governments can also make an input. Because definitely the welfare of the citizenry is the responsibility of those governments. And definitely the government cannot do everything all by themselves. So if the other people have taken that responsibility, then definitely our countries will have to put in structures to absorb some of the responsibility. Otherwise, from what he's saying, it's a very dire situation that support should really go to them. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to sustain the work he has taken upon himself to do. So I believe that, yes, there are a lot of orphanages in Ghana struggling, but the way he has described his case, I don't think we have such examples in Ghana. Yes, it's difficult to sustain it, but the churches, individual philanthropists, and other NGOs do come to their aid. But I think the situation in Uganda is there. So maybe we use our radio station to drum up support for him and his orphanage. And because of this, that we were saying that, you see, we should not give all the responsibility to the private orphanages. Because of the African social system, I mean, our uncles, our aunts, the rich people in society also take responsibility for some of the kids. The street kids. Most of us stay with our grandparents, whilst our fathers were schooling or working in the big cities. So the social support system in Africa can also be strengthened. Otherwise, if you put all the responsibility on one man, you see such stories coming up. Yeah. Look, I'm okay. This is the comment I wanted to make. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Brother JD.
This is the comment I wanted to make.
Joseph. Yeah, I'm going to ask our brother Joseph Osuji here to weigh in on the discussion in the light of.
I just want to ask you. We have the Human Rights Foundation here. It's called Joseph Osuji.
Yeah.
I'm just talking to my friend in Uganda. So you started this on your own. It's very difficult. Maybe you don't have much support from the government. So as Dr. Theophilus said, we don't have much, but we can encourage you in a little way. So you can contact us through this radio Afrobeat station. Contact the Joseph Osuji Human Rights Foundation. And, give us the opportunity how we can support you in a little way. That's how we have to chip in. It's not easy, but you're doing human right worker.
Yeah.
In the street, right? So you can contact us through this radio station and give us how we can send little resources to you through this radio station. Okay, that's all I have to say. So don't be discouraged. Continue to do what you have to do. And maybe in the future, we will support you. God will bless you. I know the government is not helping you.
Yeah.
But the work you do, nobody appreciates that. You have doctors, you have lawyers in your locality. They don't support you. When you talk about that, maybe you're a crazy person doing what you're doing. So we support you. We encourage you. Thank you. I have to leave, guys.
Understandable. Thank you so much, Brother Joseph Osuji. It's good to have you on the team, sir. We really appreciate that. And thank you for your expression of support for the work that's going on in Uganda at the God Support Orphanage Ministry. And as you have heard, Chiaga Derek, so you're going to connect with our brother Theo here, and he will link you up with the foundation our brother Joseph Osuji is actively involved in. And this is exactly what we are trying to do.
Sorry. Any support, we want to send it through Dr. Theophilus. So connecting with him might be difficult because he's operating from Uganda. We don't know the network there.
That's right.
So yeah, when we get a written note from Dr. we start with something to support him.
Exactly. And you know, I was just about to say that these are the kinds of things we're concerned about. We want to make sure that the little help that we have is actually going into the right hands. So with our brother Theo here and some of the contacts that we have in Uganda, we really want to make sure that the little that we're going to put together is actually coming to help you. Like we said, we live in a society where, you know, a number of people don't really focus on the needs of other people. They are selfish. And again, our friends around the world, we are glad you're here. This is Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, coming all the way from the studios in Toronto. And we are talking here about rethinking orphanages in Africa. And we're delighted today to have a young man by the name Chiaga Derek, who also works with Najengo, and they are doing some wonderful work in Uganda. And whereabouts in Uganda is this home located? Where are you guys?
Yes, thank you. We are located Uganda, Mitiana district.
Okay.
Yeah, Uganda, Africa, Mitiana district.
And
So
how far would
when
that be from Kampala?
it is 6 miles.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that in Uganda you talk about miles. I thought you talk about kilometers.
Kilometers.
Okay, I think yes. Okay, you know, it is 60
Don't change it.
kilometers. I think.
No problem, Sebo. No problem. Cheese, Sebo. No problem. So
Yes, it is 60 kilometers. Thank you for at least for correcting me.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
So the other thing we wanted to find out is, what are the ages of the children that you are working with? You know what? One of the things we liked about your story is you are an orphanage. Sorry, you are an orphan yourself. So you know what it means to be on the streets, to be looking for things, and now you are helping other young people. So could you tell us what are their ages?
Uh, we are starting with. Yes, sorry. We are starting with 3 years, 3 years kids. Any kid, any year, 3 years, 4 years, up to 15 years old. The oldest kids at the orphanage.
Okay. And do they go to school?
This is 3 years. The old kids to school. Talk about uh, take those who are old enough to go to school, please, because we can't manage to take all 100 kids at the school at once, because
Right.
this is, yes, we can't. So we are taking those who are 15 years, 14, 13, 11, 10, up to 9 years, because we
Okay.
can't, we can't afford to at least to take all of them at the school at this moment.
That is
But we
very
would
true.
like all, we would like all to go to school, but because even me, to get at least some little English, I go to school when I actually after the killing of my parents, I dropped out of the school when I was 13 years. I dropped out of because I was all my parents died, and I was unable at least to take beyond at the school. So I have to drop out because I wasn't have enough at least to go beyond education.
Okay. I was just wondering whether are there some other services in the area that can come to the orphanage, that can come to the house. Sorry, I think when I would I need to stay away from the word orphanage. Are there some services that come to the house
Well,
to help you with things that you need? Like, are there volunteers that come to assist? For example, if the children have to travel far to go to school, would there be some people who are teachers who can come and help some of these kids to start learning some skills?
well, as I told you, brothers who are listening, that everything here, even the schools which is settled by the governments, right now they are paying. It is not a government. It is not a government like you should not pay anything. We just have to go to school. But now they are paying. They are paying school fees, school requirements. So it means any services here you have to pay, even if you want to take some skills. But this is very important because uh, as these kids, when they are still young, have at least to learn some skills, at least so that in future they can at least not suffer much like
Mm.
those who are not. So we to get like to get any skill, we have to purchase something for the kids to get that skills. We even visited the Red Cross, because here the Red Cross is not working over here in our town, Mitiana. It is not working. So we visited. We get a cab and we gone to Kampala Mukono. So we visited the Red Cross, but they have said that uh, they are not helping orphanages financially. Then we ask, then if you don't helping financially, so how can you help us? Because we need your help as the Red Cross, because we are helping, because we took the documents about our orphanages, all the certificates, or anything which is needed. But they just say that we're sorry. What we can do is to donate blood, helping people in wars. So we found that we can't get anything from the Red Cross.
Mm.
We tried to contact the big organizations like UN, but we didn't get the replies. We've been trying to do anything which at least can help us at least to get something which can help us, but we failed because, as you know, to get help at least you have to pay. You have to pay at least to get help.
Hmm.
This is sounding like very weird, but it is in Uganda. In
Yeah.
Uganda, it is true.
You know what? We are not doubting at all what you're sharing with us. We know that in some of our countries, it's very, very difficult to have the kind of work that you do without support. So I'm glad that we have had this time with you just to share some of the things that are happening right there with this wonderful work, the God's Support Orphanage Ministry. Now, by ministry, is this connected to a church?
Is it a what?
Is it connected to a particular church? Or it
Uh,
is
it
just
is
a name?
it is not, actually it is not, but that is the name we picked up because you know, God's support. Actually we've been getting the support on the powers of God.
Amen.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Dr.
it
Mpinga,
is
may I
independent.
jump in?
Sure.
I'm sitting here and I just cannot believe what I'm listening to. Because for Derek and Hidayah to come with, to co-find this orphanage or this institution, I really commend them for that.
Yes.
Even without anything. You see, this is where sometimes I really just like to borrow your, don't get me started. These are two individuals who have seen what life or how life is, being orphans. Like Derek said, they have 100 kids. Even they are not in Kampala. This is of Kampala. So how many kids are roaming in the streets of Kampala itself?
Yeah.
And who's taking care of them? We are talking about, over here they call them street kids. Yes, they are indeed street kids, but who's taking care of them? It gets to a point where governments will have to sit back and say, you know what are some of the institutions that are helping people? Because trust me, one of those kids that you guys are taking care of could be a president of Uganda.
That's right.
Could be anybody. But then to be left alone to fend for yourself, to do what you are doing, I really, really commend you. It's touched my heart. And the little that I personally can do, together with Brother Suji and Dr. Mpindu, the little that we can do, because you guys have touched my heart. But the fact of the matter is that when I saw what you guys are doing on LinkedIn, so I don't know what pushed me to say that let me reach out. But with the story that you've given us today, honestly, every listener out there, if you really want to help, you may get in touch with Love the Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. Just Google us, Love the Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. Or you can go to their website, godsupportministry.com, and there's a donation button there. Please, they need your help. Because, like he's saying, two of them were supposed to be on this program, and one had to be here for the other to go and find something for the kids to come and eat. And look at it this way. It's a crime for the kids to eat twice a day, 2 times a day, breakfast and lunch. They go home, they go to sleep crying, hungry, and it shouldn't happen to any child. Some of them are as young as 3 years. 3. They don't have parents. Derek and the foundation are doing everything under the moon and and stars and under the sun to help. So if you can help, please, because these are some of the programs that we want to bring to your attention. It's not all about politics. Of course, politics plays a part in all of this. And if politicians will listen, these are some of the stuff that they have to be tackling.
Yeah.
It's not about a grandiose thing. All that they need is something to help the kids. The kids are not going to school in the first place, which is a shame on the government. The kids are not going to school because Derek and the foundation cannot shoulder this all by themselves.
Hmm.
And if you are out there and you can help, God Support Ministry, or you can reach out to Love the Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, and then we'll pass on every information, everything that you can help. Right now, they have, if you visit their website, they have a donate button there, and you can help them. It's touched my heart, and I didn't think I was going to go through this morning.
Yeah.
Dr. Mpino.
Thank you very much, Brother Theo. We really appreciate that. Listen, we generally don't do this. We don't bring in somebody to raise funds for them, but the kind of work that this young man and the team are doing, it's something that has really, really touched our hearts in a very, very deep way. And we want you to know, our listeners, that we do not charge administration fees. If you send us $2, we don't take 50 cents from there for administration purposes. We don't do that. We want you to know that that's who we are. We are building a name with a reputation, not for ourselves, but for the cause of humanity. We are locally placed in Canada, but we have a global vision, and our focus is on Africa. Our focus is Africa. And that's why this is an Afrobeat. It has that African flavor, the African touch, and African core values. So again, thank you so much, Brother Theo. And we are so appreciative that you have created a platform for us to have
Uh,
these kinds of organizations. And so, I mean, these kinds of discussions. So we thank you
excuse
very
me,
much for the opportunity to be here. So
Brother
I'm
Francis.
going to ask you to just weigh in as we wind down. Final comments, please.
Yes, Brother Francis. Most people, when you
Yeah.
post,
Go ahead.
yes, most people, we know we've been facing most people when we are posting that we need help, or like, hello, we need help and prayers, this and this needed. People, they are commenting by saying that go and reach your government. Your government can't help you. If you don't, if your government can't help you, whom do you expect to help? Who can help? So those kinds of questions. Uh, when we had a visitors from USA, those who are one who died, they even sent the escorts, or which we call it securities, because but the visitors told us that they charged them much dollars, like 20 200 $200,000, which is much, because yet yet those people, they was coming to save or to create something which was going to be valuable, like building schools, or school, or or developing the community where we are live. But the government of ours charged them much money. Even they are commented by saying that this country supposed to change the president, but you can find that the president doing his role, but those the cabinet, like the ministers, like those ministers, they are not doing their works, because here we have uh, the ministry of children, which at least can help those who are in need, but they are not doing their work. When when the budget come for the country, when they send money for the orphanages, or the orphanages or charities, they are not reaching to us. They are just
S- Sorry for interrupting. We try as much as possible in our program and in our broadcasts to stay away from politics. We don't know.
oh
Yeah, we don't know the issues with regards to budgeting and all that. So we try to stay away from that. But your point is valid. Unfortunately, most of our governments are not even in a position to help because their
sorry.
priorities are different. But that's okay. Don't apologize. We're just letting you know where how we do things, because we look at issues and say, okay, how can we assist in whatever way we can? And listen, if we have to visit your country, we want to make sure that they see us as friends and not as people who are criticizing everything because we think we know better, because we don't.
Yeah.
All we know is,
Yes.
when I have an extra dollar which you don't have, I would like to share that with you. And so that's how we function. So again, we really appreciate your perspectives and your participation with us today. I know that we are a little bit over time, but I would like to give our brother JD just 1 minute to wind down, and then brother Theo 1 minute, and then I'll come back to you for 1 minute. So we have 3 minutes to go. All right, 1 minute each.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Brother JD.
Yeah. Thank you, Doc. Yeah, thank you, Doc. Listen to our brother from Uganda. I believe that from the resources available to them, not every child, not every child can go to school in the outfit, but you should find trade. I mean, you allow people to learn blacksmithing, learn carpentry, learn tailoring, learn dress making, to take them off from idling, because otherwise you keep all these people there. They don't get support to do anything. Then the devil have work for their idle hands. That's what comes to me. I believe that apart from the schooling, yes, we should find other ways. I'm sure the radio station will advise that apart from the schooling, you should find other ways to make their children productive by giving them some trade knowledge in trade, so that they can use it to benefit themselves in the future. That's the only thing that I want to keep in.
Excellent point. Let's keep the
That's the only
children
thing that I want
busy
to
and
keep in.
occupied. Yeah. Thank you very much, Brother JD. Brother Theo, closing comments.
My closing comment is that I didn't expect to be touched this way. It's very difficult to touch me with respect to what is happening. My whole thing is that, like Brother Derek said, he knows every nook and corner where these kids are. And like I'm saying, if they are been able in where they are 6 kilometers from Kampala, if they've been able to get 100 kids, what about Kampala itself and other parts of Uganda where some of these kids are? And mind you, some of these kids are going to be ministers and doctors and lawyers and judges and presidents and stuff like that. So if we have the opportunity to help, not only God Support Ministry or any other orphanage in your neck of the woods, please, if you can help, just help, because it's not easy and they are doing some good work. Keep on doing it, and then we'll do what we can to support you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Webalenyo Theo. Now, over to you, Derek. Closing comments in 1 minute.
Well, I feel very happy when you use my language. I feel so happy. Thank you so much, Brother Theo, Dr. Francis, Brother JD, and everyone who is listening. It has been a very big opportunity to be here sharing some stories. However, it is sad that it is sad stories. Well, kindly, I'm concluding by saying that I, even if it is needs to nail down, I'm requesting any little that anyone can donate or can help or assist with. Please, we welcome it. It is a big blessing to give than to receive. So we will be praying for those who will be touched and get something little and helping us, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you all. May God bless you.
Karesewo. as we say in Uganda, as we say in Ghana, medasipe. So,
really?
Again, thank you very much. This has been a wonderful opportunity for us to interact with our brother all the way from Uganda. And again, Brother Theo, thank you so much for creating this opportunity. Brother JD, all the way from Accra, we thank you for your consistent, ongoing support, making time to be with us. And again, you've been listening to Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, coming all the way from the studios in Toronto. We are so glad that you make time to be with us online. Listen, our brother, we want you to come back so that next time it's going to be the two of you so that we can have a dialogue with you. So again, thank you so much, Weber and you, for being with us today. Keep up the good work. We will stay in touch and we will try to invite you back again another time. So again, thank you, everybody. Thank you for being with us. Keep up the good work. And like you have heard, if you wish to make a contribution to the work that's happening in Uganda, whatever little you can, please connect with our brother Theo, and we will make sure that we will give you a report in terms of our contributions and what's going on there. So again, everybody, thank you for being with us today. See you again next time, next week, same time, and keep up the good work. God bless you.